This is What's in Your Cup, a space for conversations with people shaping specialty coffee. Not just what's in the cup, but the story beyond it. Today, we're brewing a Finca El Diviso Ombliguón by Nestor Lasso, roasted by Presta. It's got sweet, dark chocolate notes with a vibrant raspberry acidity that is so balanced that it's addictive. One of my favorite cups from last year and this year so far, so please get your hands on it while you still can.
Welcome to the Southwest Hunting Show. We're here to tell you all about the inside secrets of Southwest hunting in the Patagonia and the SRV region area during the month of October and the month of November, and what you need to look for and what type of animals we're going to kill. Beep. Our hats pretty much say
that we're that type of person. Hunters. Coffee deal hunters.
I'm far from it.
Far from it.
One thing I hunt is little beans.
Well, thank you so much for finding the time to sit down with me and talking. I appreciate that. Feel like you know how to talk.
Me? I'm pretty much a mute. I don't really talk very often.
I mean, if you look up content of yourself online, that kind of proves itself. There's not much content about the man, the myth, and the legend, Curtis Zimmerman. Yeah. Interview-wise and stuff.
Yeah,
there's a documentary, which was great, by the way. It's a really good one. If you haven't watched that documentary, it's a really good documentary. Well, man, I'm grateful to be here in such a wonderful space and get to sit down and talk to you and pick your brain a little bit about kind of what it's been like to be in specialty coffee. How long have you been doing this for?
This many years.
20?
No, close to it, but not 20.
Right.
I don't, over 15.
Over 15.
Well, because, I mean, there's weird things, right? Because there's a transition between the names of the business and then when I first started,
right,
to where I actually built a cart in my garage. So it was actually, that was whole R&D segment in my garage. It's just playing around. I even refurbed a 3-group Synesso in my garage and made wood handles for it.
That's
and
sick.
Sold it. I sold it to WIYC in LA. He had Cotting Roasters out of LA. He bought the machine.
Right.
So,
you have so many stories and so many people that you know. I mean, I guess it just comes from being so long in the industry, you know?
Yeah.
You started with a coffee cart in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did that evolve into, I mean, when was the moment where you kind of picked that you were going to do specialty coffee in a more serious way, like in a bigger sense, kind of put up a storefront and get more involved?
It always was specialty coffee that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of European influences. Really, I mean, I saw it coming out of Europe and it was popping up random in these States. And I knew if you can get the ground level in a city that hasn't had it yet, in our city, we're 1 million people, but no one has really done it. There was one other person outside of Cartel, before Cartel, that was doing it in a coffee cart in town.
Wow.
But he ended up becoming Cartel.
Oh, okay.
And now a beer brewer in Phoenix. But
wow. Did you get the whiff of what was going on in Europe by being in Europe? Is that kind of where you found out about
the thing? I can't really gauge it and where it was. I mean, I was definitely influenced in European coffee. But we're talking Northern Europe. We're not talking like Central Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it was that grabbed a hold of me, but it grabbed a hold of me. And it was always hyper-focused on specialty coffee. It was always hyper-focused on like serving this new thing to our city.
Right. It's incredible.
That's
really cool.
It's never really left me. And I think when I read your pre-questions, one of your questions was when did it become fun?
Well, when was the moment where you kind of decided to take it even to a deeper level?
It never felt like a business to me. It's always been fun to me because when it grabs you and you get so involved with it at that time, I think when I felt like it was a business is when I was pulling away and doing book work.
Yeah. Kind of the paperwork, the math, the things like that, the administrative work was when it kind of felt like a business.
Definitely. But I mean, the fun part, which I miss, is being behind the bar all day long.
Right.
But especially at the Mercado.
Yeah.
That was the fun part.
The Mercado's fun.
I still remember wearing jeans in swamp cooler at 110 degrees all day long. And it didn't bug me. I mean, I just
loved it.
Pushed through it, and it was fun. It was fun.
Were you always hyper fixated on the coffee part itself, or do you feel like it was something else that drove you to be enchanted by it all?
I think there's a few things. It was definitely, for me, it was like serving our city something new.
Yeah.
It was like, explore this option, like giving them something that they haven't had was a big thing. Also, it really didn't come into play until like later, maybe a year or two after I roasted, but it wasn't like the exploration of coffee wasn't there until it was there. And I really remember the first natural that came through, which was probably mislabeled as honey process. But
it tasted like a natural.
It's in David's podcast, your other podcast.
Oh, is it the Fiesta honey?
The Fiesta honey, and I'm pretty sure it was a natural.
Wow.
I guarantee it was not a honey process.
Second person that mentions that coffee. I guess it was just really memorable at the time.
Now you have to understand the time that came out. We had Barista Camp here in town.
Okay. Oh,
and I mean all the way down to Little John, Baca. All those people were educating baristas in town, and
so all those people were in town.
They were all in town educating,
oh, wow.
And actually they had to throw down a cartel in downtown the next night. But what happened was I dropped off 10 pounds of that coffee, and people got their hands on it. And I think the next day, Sunday morning or Monday morning, it was this bus pulled up of like 40 people on First Avenue, and it was me and another person. And we saw 40 of the best coffee professionals in the U.S.
Wow.
just come walking in the door, and we're like freaking out because they wanted to know about this Fiesta honey. So that's really, I mean, that coffee itself put me on the map with the educators of the U.S.
Man, because I mean, I'm guessing, what was the deal with the coffee itself? Was it just like really fruity and different at the time? Because this was back, at least 10 years ago? At least 10 years ago when the Fiesta honey was a thing?
Well, 2014, I guess is...
2014?
14 and
12
maybe
years.
15 was the camp, maybe.
Yeah.
So we're talking 10 years.
That's a huge difference in what was being served at the time.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, there was a lot of wash and double wash, fully washed.
Just washed.
Yeah, and there were some alternative processes, but I don't really remember exploring that option even before then, because before that, I used XO Coffee here in town.
Yeah, so it's great.
And they're very classic driven on the stuff they buy, wash style coffees.
Yeah.
And I saw kind of a loophole, had a few of them here and there, but I saw a loophole of like, I can explore these options.
Right.
They weren't, not that they weren't willing to, I don't think at the time the owners didn't want to jump that far into
a new thing, new
fruit
trend.
bomb.
Fruit bomb, yeah, fruit bombs. Was that the term that was being thrown around, I'm guessing like 12 years ago for these coffees that were suddenly like a blueberry bomb, things like that? It was like a new thing up and coming,
blueberries
right?
back then, it was just in a classic wash, an Ethiopia wash, but you can't find that anymore. I mean, subjective or not, I mean, if it's subliminal that I'm telling you it's a blueberry in this coffee, you might think it, but it definitely was around at that point in time. Climate change, I think, may have destroyed that note itself in those coffees.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was experimental coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
But now that I look back at it, it was a natural.
Yeah. I hear about these barista trainings that were here in town and the big coffee personalities that were in town for that date, and just hanging around this warehouse and being involved at Presta. I've just heard so many stories and so many connections and so many events that have happened through coffee and that have happened through, it's like 16 years living the life within the industry, really.
Yeah.
You feel like that's what has made you stick around for so long, aside from the passion for coffee itself, like the beverage itself?
It doesn't feel that long, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some days it feels long, but most days it doesn't. It's really the passion that keeps me around for it all.
Right.
And the relationships.
For sure. And you have so many of them.
Yeah.
So many of them. I'll see you driving around town and you're on the phone and you get off the car.
Yeah.
And you're on the phone talking to somebody that all of a sudden sounds like a normal conversation with a family member or something like that, and it turns out to be like John from Necessity, or like this other person, a rep from this or a rep from that. It's always on the phone with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all communicate either way. Coffee owners itself, we communicate, but also like the farmers. We're always calling each other too. So
is that a common thing?
Wasn't
for
when I first
shops?
started buying coffee? No, it was really hard. I ended up doing a roundtable talk in Costa Rica. I think we had like 20 farmers in this roundtable, and I took a crapshoot. My question is, how do you see? I think the question was, how do you see us like working in the future with roasters, specialty coffee roasters? And I'm like, I see basically in the future that we would all get on social media in the ways that the iPhone really wasn't present at that time.
Right.
And nor did a lot of people even have Wi-Fi down at the farms.
Right. So the question was how to keep in contact.
How to keep in contact. And it was like, I believe we're going to end up shipping coffees through mass shipping and communicating through social media. And that's exactly what I do right now. And maybe that's just me. Other people do it other ways. And I've developed enough relationships in the farms to where I can just WhatsApp, Instagram, talk. This is what I'm looking at. Yeah. And this is what I want. This is what next harvest is going to look like.
Right.
And they send me samples.
Right.
And it comes DHL in less than a week time. So I personally don't have to fly to the farms. If I need to look for new farms, yes, I'm going down. Yeah. Or if I need to do a little quality control at the farms to make sure everything's going all right.
Yeah.
But majority, I mean, the farms are, once they hit specialty, they're never really going back. Yeah. I've had a few people fall offline this past year because of your commodities gone through the roof, and it's easier just to let go of your staff, hire in a big truck to come shake your trees,
right? And
you get paid $4.20 a pound instead of, I mean, $4.20 a pound was my top of the line coffee 10 years ago.
Wow. And what's the top of the line
Ethiopia
now? And from Ethiopia.
It's top of the line. I mean, on a base level, anywhere from base level $7 to $15 now.
That's a huge change. Dude, I know you have these long-standing relationships with the farmers, and you've gone back, I believe, many times to like Costa Rica with Don Eli and many others. Do you feel like that shift in pricing has also reflected in their lives as well? Like, how is that?
I mean, this is why we do it.
Right.
So, I mean, if
like living through the impact that really your business is making on their lives directly most of the times.
Yeah.
Right. And it's what they call direct trade,
As direct as we can,
As we can, yeah. That's beautiful. And that's real. I feel like that's really instilled in us here at Presta. I mean, when I got trained, that was a big part of what was mentioned to me, like in the training materials.
Wait a minute, you work here?
I do. This whole direct trade, farmer to roaster connection, and I was already interested in specialty coffee, but I had never really thought about the fact that there was a producer in some part of the world that was shipping the coffee here, and then it was getting roasted, and really, okay, yeah, you just think of that, but what are the details between that? Like, how does that happen? How does that connection form? Like, if you went to Costa Rica, how did you get there? Especially, what was this, 12 years ago, maybe?
12, 15 years ago, yeah.
How did that happen? How did that come to be?
Being,
you
go with vendors, and then from there you create friendships outside that.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, on the vendor's dime, you kind of use their experience to show you around, and from there you create those friendships with vendors. And then ideally I just use the vendors that kind of
get you
ship
there.
my stuff.
Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong, because I haven't been to Origin. Take me to Origin.
Let's go.
But everybody that gets to go to these farms that the vendors take,
Yeah.
do you feel like everybody back then was aiming to make a connection with the producer and keep that relationship going on their end? Or what was kind of the vibe? I know it's very relationship driven now, for the most part. A lot of
before
roasters.
relationship driven, it was they were going there to cut a deal. They were going to cut the deal, meaning like undermine their value for the coffees.
Yeah.
They're going there to, if it's going to be $4 a pound, they're going to push it to $3 a pound. So I don't think I've ever worked a deal. Maybe on the spot side of it all, when it's if a coffee's sitting spot and we need something to pull up,
Right.
it's easy enough to make a deal that way. But that's
Sure.
that's the vendor itself.
And then if you have the relationships for it too, I'm guessing that kind of facilitates the treatment, right? Where if
Right.
it's like, if you're already friends with them, they can understand from a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
But that's crazy that back then it was very business focused, really, making a trip to Origin, just trying to get the best deal.
Right.
Is it now just trying to get in touch with the producer and sure, maybe talk prices, or it just purely relationship
That's
developing?
the last question I ask.
What do you mean?
It's the last. Price is the last question I ask. It's
Gotcha.
it's about first of all, we talk about the coffee itself. If I like it,
Right.
we talk about the coffee itself.
Yeah.
If it's the lot, the altitude, the varietal, the process,
Yeah.
and then the quantity, and then it comes down to what's the price.
Right.
And I've never really worked a deal out. I never really undercut. I never asked a farmer to say, that doesn't work with me. Like, my whole concept is to find good coffee
Yeah.
through great farmers
Right.
and let our city have this for themselves.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite things of this industry. I've been in it for a very short amount of time now, for about a year and a half through you guys, and that's been really eye-opening in many ways, and I've learned a lot. But one of my favorite things, and I was telling David this, is the fact that I feel like there has been what seems to be a communal effort to keep the ethics and the morale of the industry kind of aligned. And maybe I see that because I hang around you and your friends that also have roasters and are kind of work under the same moral and ethical compass. But some other industries perhaps let in maybe a few bad apples into the business, where it was like, I don't care about the lives of whoever's involved in this. Let's just get the best price. And then those that were really trying to make somebody else's life better and be a little more fair kind of got weeded out, if that makes sense. And then that whole industry turned into this kind of volatile, ethical, moral dilemma, whereas specialty coffee seems, to me at least, to kind of push those people out, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like we ended up. There's been a couple meetings at farms I've had with other farmers, and they've all kind of got together and like they want to know how to get themselves into specialty coffee. Like, how do we do this? And they're always talking to the farmer I'm with, but they want to understand like, what is specialty coffee and how do you do it? How do you work it? And then it's great to help that farmer educate. He can educate them on what he knows in the farm, but I can educate them on what we're looking for,
Right.
what we like, what specialty coffee roasters are looking to source.
Right.
On the top of that, when I told them like how much our bags are,
Right.
they rolled over in their beds. I mean, they were like, you sell your coffee for how much?
How much?
And they were like, why can't we do that? Like, why can't we
Right.
do that here?
Right.
But it's a different thing because all their good coffees go out,
Right.
and they're left with either the lower level coffees. They may keep the better coffees for themselves at the farm, maybe a bag or two, but I don't see them selling that coffee in their country just because they can make a lot more
Right.
elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, it must be beautiful to see the impact that really doing business in such a transparent and fair way makes, honestly. And I've gotten a whiff of that here. Again, you can be talking on the phone to somebody that seems like family, and all of a sudden you hang up and you're like, oh, that was Don Eli.
Yeah.
Or you're like, oh, Don Eli's right here next door at 9th Street with the sun, right? Things like that. So that's really beautiful to see. It's honestly really inspiring as a young person just kind of starting out in life to see that it is possible to do something you love and do it in the correct way and make a living out of it, and then also provide other people with the opportunity to live in such a beautiful community and business business life, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like all the baristas here are really happy, and that might trickle down as well from the very beginning of you being so morally and ethically inclined at the source, and then turn around and also be the same way at the shop. I mean, how have you managed to do that and fight against going corporate, so to speak? Because it must be hard. I mean, there's 4 locations now in Tucson.
Yeah.
Yet the vibe still upholds, I feel like.
You think so?
I feel like, yeah. Every time I'm around the team meetings and the cuppings and the menu tastings and the people that come through here, at least this chapter that I'm living through in Presta, because it feels very in chapters, right? In seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good one, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain the culture, and it's really, feel like personally it's spiraling a little bit as it gets bigger. It's getting a little more out of control, and like I feel it's hard to like do this thing, keep grabbing things and pulling them in, and I don't know if I can do another store. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would
Kind
really
of harder
like
to control it all, I mean?
yeah,
Different aspects.
I really would like to focus more on the wholesale side of it all. My wholesale's never been large. It's never been huge. Also, I've never really marketed it. I think
I don't think
our
I've seen
marketing
it.
dollars that we have right now is on Sprudge,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like a lot of it's guerrilla style marketing.
Yeah.
And I always love that.
Yeah.
And I think I'll always keep it that way. But
Yeah.
like,
It's a little bit of kind of the product speaks for itself.
yeah, but you have to get the products in people's hands before they
Yeah.
can speak
on
about it. And I definitely, when the first round of like influencers came through during COVID, like I definitely did not absorb it. I didn't take it at all. I mean, I'm like, if you want to buy the coffee and then promote it, that's fine, but I'm not giving it to you for free.
Sure.
And they all came in, wanted me to throw items at them left and right. And if I don't know who you are in the ways of like, I prefer you to buy the coffee. Like
Sure.
I don't, it's hard for me to like downscale the product by giving it up to someone to promote it online.
Right.
At the time, it really wasn't relevant during COVID because like COVID hasn't really happened. It just started happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, advertising's really not there. I think we do a good job online kind of messing around
Right.
our personal social media, but like, yeah, I don't know about.
Yeah, like paid advertising dollars and stuff like that. I've never seen an ad, and it sounds like an influencer coming in without knowing you or the business or hanging around and being part of the community, asking for free products or free coffee, free this is so, at the same time, lacking of kind of the core values that I see instilled in Presta,
Yeah.
which is this personal relationship that I already talked about and see you have with so many people. Where if that's not established, then maybe in a sense, it's like a sense of vetting people a little bit, right? And seeing like, first of all, how's it going, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost. And then from there, kind of develop a friendship based on maybe a mutual hobby, or you just happen to hang around here all the time, and then slowly building up a sense of community. And then it blossoms into kind of like a beautiful bridge that facilitates, yeah, here you go. You know, here's some coffee, here's that. Right. David gave an example of you. He was just talking about you, and I think one of like the third thing he said about you, of you at a barista latte art throwdown, was like, yeah, Curtis was there, and he was like giving away coffee, and I said, yeah, that sounds like Curtis.
But like, yeah, to my, I would say to my family, like it's the people that appreciate it, people that come around, the people that make note of like they love it.
Yeah.
More or less, like influencer wise, like I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
I want to know what you do, and I want to have a relationship with you before I give you coffee.
Right. And I've seen you not stand behind people that you don't agree with whatever they have going on and just say no.
Right.
And just turn around and either not do business or not develop a relationship with, which is also really powerful to see.
That moment was our first throwdown that you talk about with David.
Yeah.
The first throwdown we had at 2014, and I made like these little sample bags.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that was inviting in all the coffee people, and mainly it was all Phoenix that showed up that night.
Yeah.
Tucson wasn't there for that style of coffee, and understanding what specialty coffee was and what the community meant.
Sure.
But Phoenix showed up because they already had a scene going on, which, you know, that scene was awesome at that point in time. And that time frame in the mid 2000s, 2010 to 15, there was some cool stuff happening there.
Who was in it? Who was in the Phoenix scene at that time? I wasn't around for it. I was 10.
I mean, you can
10
go,
years old.
well, Perry Chop, who's Selva Coffee in Costa Rica now. Michelle Johnson, who is Ghost Town. Seth Mills, who did, what was the subscription company? I forgot now.
The one you just showed me?
No.
Leaderboard?
Oh my gosh, had a subscription company, and he sold it, and there was some big players. There's some like small roasters that kind of popped up that were really great, and then just shut down after a year. It was a cool scene, but like that was just inviting the coffee world into my home, and I know I had one chance to wow them.
Right.
So I don't even know what coffee I gave out to them, but it was like
honey.
a little sample of it. Maybe, I don't know. That was my first, that was the grand opening, so I definitely didn't have the Fiesta Honey at that point in time.
Okay.
But I remember I had a couple of Ethiopias that I got from, I don't know, not even Cafe Import, before Cafe Imports. I don't know.
Yeah.
So many companies now.
Yeah. I think you did a great job welcoming them in such a way that set the precedent for the future, in this mentality of abundance that I feel that I see, the abundance in giving. I come from a small town in Mexico, Alamo, Sonora, gorgeous town, very tourist oriented because it's really pretty. So there's a lot of businesses that are tourism derived. And I grew up seeing, for the most part, the business owners tend to be kind of on the jealous side of things, kind of on the, I'm not giving absolutely anything for free ever, no matter kind of how friends we are, or if you're coming here for the first time, with like a lot of sense of jealousy, I feel is the right word maybe. And when I first started working here, you guys gave us a packet after the training, and in that packet are kind of company guidelines and rules and things like that, and it's mentioned that we have a right to comp 2 drinks a day. And when I read that, I was baffled by it, because I thought to myself, well, there's 3 locations, and there must be maybe 4 or 5 baristas per location. So we're talking about 15 baristas at 2 drinks a day each. That's a lot of drinks.
Right.
But at the same time, once I started working behind the bar, it started making sense as to why it's such a great idea to do that, you know?
Building relationships.
Building relationships. building relationships. Because I love how Presta's about the coffee and serving great coffee, but that coffee that is great and is being served comes from a relationship that was built.
Right.
And then once we serve the coffee, there's a relationship being built in the middle point where...
Yeah, and we realized, I mean, baristas give out coffee anyways, so
Right.
if we just hold them this, if it was, I think originally it was like, we ended up doing maybe 5 drinks for barista a day. But
that's a lot.
Yeah, we just, I mean, as we grew, it kind of the numbers had to come down, but also
Right.
like, I know there could be days that you're giving out more than 2, like,
Right.
but it just allowed the baristas to understand they didn't feel so guilty of giving out coffee if they knew that they could.
Yeah.
But also it's relationship building is the reason why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
So-
yeah. And I see it every day when I'm behind the bar at Mercado. It absolutely works. There's some days, like you said, that I don't give out any free coffee, not because I don't want to, but because there's really not a connection that I'm establishing with anybody in particular. Yeah. Nobody comes and visits. Nobody gets free coffee. And then there's some other days that I use my 2 comps. There might be some days a week where I might have given 1 comp out to somebody I had a good time with, and then my mom comes in, and then that's another comp, and then shoot, somebody else that is kind of Presta family derived comes in, and I'm like, I can't charge this guy. He's only ordering drip, you know. So here's like 1 cup of coffee, and that keeps them coming back.
I mean, for you, do you feel a little less guilty knowing that you can do that than not knowing it at all, and then giving it out and unsure of what's going to happen if you do give it out?
Absolutely. I mean, personally, it hits me in that sense of awe as to, wow, I'm part of a business that actually allows me to do this, because it feels like a very human thing, you know? And from you allowing it to do that comes from a consciousness that there are humans working behind the bar and humans getting coffee, and there's relationships being built, and that's inevitably gonna happen. And then that's gonna lead to more relationships and perhaps even more business later on down the road. But it also makes me feel guilty in a good way, if that makes sense, where it's a little bit like when your parents gave you permission to do something really cool that you wanted to do, and you know that they're trying really hard to say yes, and they give you the opportunity, and then that makes you feel guilty if you mess that up or if you take it even further, right?
Right.
So like, let's say you have to be home by 11, and they're being really cool about it. And when they're being really cool about it, you feel really bad if you come home at 12, you know?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit about that, where it's like, I know I get 2 comps a day, and I'm gonna keep it at 2 comps a day because Presta's awesome, and I think they're already doing enough for 2 comps a day, and I don't wanna do more, you know what I mean? So it serves kind of in this double-edged sword,
Right.
in the best of ways, I think. So that was really impressive to see this mentality of abundance and giving, and I'm not sure if is that the vibe for other shops? Like, is that how people you know tend to do it? Do you guys ever talk about that sort of thing?
No, I mean,
shop to shop owner.
unless they call me and ask me, I don't know what those shops are doing anymore. We, like starting out 15 years ago, we were talking it a lot. It was like the specialty coffee shops in town, we were definitely talking about what to do, what we're gonna do. And I just feel like as nothing's new, there's a couple of little roasters or multi-roasters that open up in town, but roaster-wise, there's nothing really new. And they've all kind of gone their separate ways of not being bought out to where they sold out, or they're not the same owners anymore. So I don't communicate with them anymore. But there's a huge culture shift when that happens too. So I hope I'm the leading standard in this town for coffee.
Right.
So
Feels that way to me, but I may be biased, you know.
right.
Here,
I don't
but
know.
I'd still try all the other coffee shops, and I really like what we do.
I mean,
like others.
Outside of the employee culture, I mean, I think, you know, I've learned in my past too of understanding how that works. But
Sure. I'm sure along the way, 15 years of being involved, you've had some difficult times. What are some of the lessons that you've learned so far in specialty coffee?
It's a lot of lessons.
It could be employee related.
The hardest part is employees. Like managing, listening, understanding their situation, And I'm pretty hands off. I would love to be more a leader in the way of like helping them out a little bit more, but I feel like I've got so much going on in the coffee buy-in, in the warehouse portion, that I allow the managers to be the leadership of the business in the cafes, because I can't be there to do that anymore. And I wouldn't even say I was great at it. I mean, at that point.
Well, I mean, you're doing something right. You did something right, so you were pretty good at it at least.
Well, hands off, a little step back a little bit, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, at first it's hard because I view myself as an artist. I'm not a business person. I didn't go to business school. I followed my love and passion, and that's what artists do in general. Like they just go with it, and I went with it, and I definitely lost my not lost my, but I she threw me off taking a photo again. I didn't know what I was talking about. But
about being an artist.
Yeah,
and kind of following what you like and not going to business school. And
yeah, I mean, I didn't use the right word. It wasn't lost. I found the love for my passion through being an artist in the past. I mean, I went to graphic design school before this.
Right.
I ran a news publication online for cycling, for bike racing.
You were a cyclist before this?
I was a cyclist before that. So it was, a lot of stuff is hands-on.
Right.
And I always love creating, always love inventing, always love coming up with ideas, but also implementing the ideas and putting them into process.
Right.
But I mean, I think where I failed at is not understanding business and knowing business. And it's taken its toll over the years, but I think now I've gotten to a point with the size of my business to allow me to do the things I want to do, like insurance, benefits for the staff, meaning like if it's health benefits, it's memberships of gyms and stuff. Buying bikes for staff.
Yeah, I was gonna give that example right now when you said that you might not have done such a great job kind of managing. Whereas I felt last year I had that whole car accident thing where I got my motorcycle stolen, and then my car totaled as I was parked inside of it, all in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was crazy. But then it was really nice to feel the support of, I think it was kind of literally 2 weeks after, kind of once I recovered, you bought bikes for Paulina and I, you know? So those are like things that I feel are super hard to find elsewhere in the industry. I hope they're not, you know?
Yeah.
I hope they're more common, but.
Well, I mean, health and wellness also keeps your mind fresh. It keeps you kind of going as a person too.
Right.
I believe in it. That's how I survived as a kid. I mean, as if you didn't see the documentary, you know how I grew up as a kid, and it definitely kept me going.
Right.
And kept me.
Because you were a pro cyclist before, and I was gonna say, what is the? I need the Curtis Zimmerman timeline here, because you're so diverse in achievements and interests and hobbies and endeavors, and I feel like I know a lot about you, but at the same time, I don't have the overall picture, as in like what have you done previously to coffee, and like where did that fall in? Because I know at some point you ran, I think it was like some sort of a marketing agency, not marketing, but like a branding firm, and then this like news article thing that you just mentioned right now.
It was all loose, yeah.
And it's just
I mean,
boom, 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 just one thing after
it's weird
the
because
other.
it just.
Where did you start?
I feel like I get myself into these things that are just starting out, and they lead into new things because whatever I got myself into, that subject I got myself into, is taking off.
Yeah.
But bike racing was all through high school. Like once I found bike racing, I dumped every sport that I was playing in middle school. Running, basketball, football, baseball, all got dumped. And I found bike racing my freshman year. By the time junior year, I was traveling the U.S. national team my
Wow.
senior year, all over the place in the U.S., and then got shipped over at 18 to Europe in Lucca.
Yeah.
Didn't last very
Wow.
long because if you look at the early 90s, there's a lot of like implications of drugs happening in this sport, and I was approached with it, and I decided not to take that option and came back home and went to college. So there was a time frame I didn't race. I was in college for almost 6 years, but the incident with my best friend that I grew up racing with ended up killing himself.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Jumping back into it because of him. So by the time I was 26, I started racing again.
Okay.
And then ended up having a crossover with one of the friends that were in Europe, kind of told me to be careful because he stayed in it and he got all messed up. So he kind of gave me a heads up. So it took me a while. It took 3 years of racing to kind of get that pro status on that on the license itself. But and by then I was already kind of a washed up. You need to be in Europe early on to really be where I wanted to be, which is if you see my timeline, it would have been along with Lance Armstrong at the time.
Okay. Gotcha.
But-
Like part of that generation.
We're the same age, yeah.
Okay.
But by the time I got back into it, 26, it's considered as washed up. You can definitely be a U.S. pro at that time, anywhere from a tier 3 to tier 1 team. But it wasn't going to go far outside of U.S., but also like I got back into racing because the friend that killed himself
Sure.
couldn't race anymore because a lot of crossovers happening. The team that I used to be on when I came back from Europe, which was A1 Cycling out of St. Louis, the whole team got wiped out by a car going.
Wow.
Car was going downhill, we were going uphill. I wasn't there that weekend, I decided not to go, but it was raining, the car hit the brakes and washed out the first 3 people. He was one of them, had back injuries. He got back up to shape after 2 or 3 years, but the doctor said he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Completely depressed, broke up with his girlfriend, took drugs, was gone. So that was the reason why I got back into bike racing.
Wow.
Only really for him, in honor of him,
Absolutely.
but also like, I'm only young once.
Right.
Let me see what I can do out of this.
Yeah. How
And-
much I can push myself.
Yeah, and it didn't really go terribly far. It was enough to make some money, but not a lot. I was able to save a lot of it to allow me actually to buy the roaster down the road. That's what I ended up buying the roaster with, that money.
Was it this roaster?
Yeah. Well, I bought Apple stock when it was like $64
Man.
before it split off 2 times, but
Man.
that money bought.
Right. The
So,
roaster.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So, but after that, I got into graphic design. I had 2 kids. And the reason why I got into graphic design was stay-home dad. So I was working in the evenings when they were sleeping or during nap times, raising the kids. And then I went to design school,
Yeah.
2-year program.
Yeah.
Met a few guys there. We did a little design firm, Orange Peel Design. And from there, it led into us doing Missing Saddle, which was a news publication. It was originally going to be stuff that we're going to like mock the world of sporting because
The world of what?
the world of cycling.
Okay.
Sorry, I said sporting, right?
Yeah.
With the world of cycling, we were going to kind of laugh at it on its nuances and its weird quirks that it had. But
Okay.
it led into a thing to where we ended up creating this whole big news publication that we were pulling. Blogging was big at the time. It was starting to become big.
Okay.
And when we had the relationships with all our friends that are still racing, we got them to blog for us. We had almost a little over 100 blogs at the time. And it wasn't, if they wanted to write about racing, no problem, but they can write about anything. But we pulled their RSS feeds into a main site,
Right.
pulling that content along with going to the races and doing video content.
That's substantial.
Since we had the relationships and we were friends,
Yeah.
we were in the buses talking about politics. We were talking about their hometowns or their relationships with their partners or whatever, because we knew who they were.
Right. You guys had a very unique insight, you know,
Yeah,
like a
and it
very
was
unique position to be in.
very little about bike racing, but more about the personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe the question back then, I don't know if you guys ever asked it, but it would have been, what's in your cup?
right,
You know?
right.
You know, like literally maybe like what's going on in your endeavors of cycling, but also kind of what's going on in your life, you know, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We did have a blog, and we had a video blog. Came out, maybe we did 2 or 3 episodes video-wise, but we had a podcast.
Wow.
It was In the Saddle, which I think NBC has right now, NBC Sports.
Like early, or super early on in time, like 2000.
2002 to 2006.
Man, I bet there was only a handful of podcasts in the internet at that point.
When it first came out, it blew up. And then about 2007, 2008, when blog came out, Twitter came out,
all these different forms
that format
of information
fell to the wayside because it was shorter, it was faster.
Sure.
And that's why our site kind of imploded, because the blogging status went nowhere. It was too long, too much time to write.
Yeah.
And people were
just quick tweets, 100
characters on its way.
Right.
So,
and then after that, what was the next thing? I mean, after the blog.
Coffee.
How did that? Where's the missing link? Because I feel like so far cycling led to a group of people and experiences, and that led again to cycling, and then led to the blog.
It was graphic design, Missing Saddle. Missing Saddle led into, like, I worked with a few teams managing their website, pro teams, and then it maybe carried on in maybe another 2 years outside that, but I was drinking so much coffee at the time and starting to understand there was like this new scene happening in the States.
Right.
And you were seeing it through the bike race world.
Where were you even getting your information at that point in time to kind of look into specialty coffee? Because I feel like even now, just regular mom and pops people, my parents, my family and stuff like that, for a lot of people, it's still not even on their map. I mean, sure, now more than ever, there's a lot more exposure to it, but if there's still people that don't have specialty coffee on their map, I can't even imagine how it was before such volatile and fast internet times. You know, like where did that come from? Where did you finding out about specialty coffee come from?
I don't know if it was really internet based. Maybe I don't know if there was anything. I don't know when Sprudge came out. That was the news outlet really at that time, but it was community, like just talking to people in coffee. If it was people in bike racing with coffee, a lot of it was my travels at the time, because I was traveling a lot with the bike racing world. And I remember going to Hanson Coffee, who Blue Bottle bought out and shut down.
Wow.
Like, it was like, maybe they saw, I don't really know why they bought them out, but, and I didn't read the story. I don't know why they bought them out, but I felt like it was intentional why they bought them out. They bought them out and shut them down because the owners of Hanson Coffee was all barista champions, or kind of in that realm.
Yeah.
And they kind of came in and saw something great and bought it and shut it down.
Right. Wow.
But it's all that stuff. It's traveling in Amsterdam, traveling in Denmark, and seeing that style of roasting and that culture was really inspiring.
Right. Right. Who would have ever thought that you would have ended up doing this? Because throughout this whole journey, I loved how you put it at the beginning, kind of considering yourself an artist out of just doing what you love.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring to know that you can actually achieve something great and make a living out of just doing what you love, what you love, what you love. Because that's what it sounds like. I mean, all through it.
Yeah. At
just
first,
going for it.
It was
without not really knowing or having a prediction for the future. Yeah.
Yeah. There was zero future involved. It was something I really just enjoyed and loved. The addiction was like the artwork and lattes and cappuccinos.
Was that what's going on back then?
It was a goal. Like, it was like pour after pour after pour. I was doing 100 pours in my garage.
So if I would have met you 10, 12, 15 years ago,
we would have been the same. You had the same drive,
yeah,
definitely.
I obsess over the pouring a little bit, yeah.
When I built the cart in my garage, I took the the 40 amp breaker off of my dryer, and then had another 40 amp breaker that was an extension cord to my espresso machine. So I would pull my dryer breaker out and then put my espresso machine breaker in, all when everything's live. And that's how I like would be in my garage, like with a 2 group.
That is
at the time, it was a Simonelli Aurelia
obsessive.
that I found in a garage sale, and it was an ice cream shop in town that shut down, and I bought everything out of the garage for $1,500 maybe. Espresso machine, grinders,
Wow.
fridges.
Right
great.
place, right time, I
Yep.
guess. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy level of obsession. And it's crazy that that was what people in the industry were like super into back then, and that's what the goal was, you know, like kind of latte art.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen iterations of obsessions in the industry over the course of 16 years, which is a long line. I mean, you were in the industry in its infancy, really, at least here in the US, in a sense.
Yeah, in our city itself, but I mean, the other cities were already taking off. Like the bigger cities, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Portland, of course, Seattle, of course, LA was starting to hit it too.
Yeah.
But I just knew our city was a little behind times, so we were a little smaller, but a little behind times that I can like do the exact same thing they were doing
And it would be
in
completely
our
new.
city, you know, brand new, and be the innovator of our town.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
you can still do that in smaller towns
Right.
all over the.
Absolutely. If I were to do anything remotely similar to Presta in my hometown of Alamos, it's like kind of a perfect place for like a coffee shop, because you got the tourists and like really beautiful architecture and such, it would be totally new.
And brand new, really?
Like brand new. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some coffee shops right now that just opened literally maybe 2 years ago max.
Yeah.
And maybe 6 months ago is when they've incorporated a proper espresso machine, and even like hired one of my barista friends in Mexico to do some training for them and kind of start to get educated a little bit about what's going on, at least in my hometown. If you do that in the neighboring bigger city that's only like a 35-minute drive, that came to be 5 years ago. So even still new. 5 years ago was like the first shop with like a espresso machine and steamy milk and doing art and getting the highest quality beans that they could afford and things like that. Still new. So, yeah.
How big is your town?
Alamos, I think, has, man, and I feel bad for not knowing this, maybe 100,000 inhabitants, maybe less. There's a main concentration in like the main part of town, but then Alamos has a bigger population as well in a lot of ranching land that surrounds Alamos, like off in the mountains in different rural communities and indigenous communities as well, that if you add them all up, that they add a bigger sum, but it's small. It's small.
Yeah.
Small and beautiful.
I mean, clearly remember like Mexico City kind of coming online with specialty coffee, but then like the most northern city was Hermosillo. I felt like came online a few years back.
Yeah.
I mean, they were maybe 7, 8 years ago.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 or 8 years ago. 2026 now. Yeah, right around. Maybe even like 6 years ago, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Because I remember visiting one of the shops that we now have the pleasure to visit in the coffee festival that they did over there, Dos Raíces. That was kind of the first one that I had heard of. When I first got into specialty coffee was like in 2019, I think. And I remember being in Hermosillo once and trying to find a roaster that I can buy beans from and try them out. And maybe, I don't know if I didn't look hard enough or something like that, but I didn't quite find anything that was suited for it until Dos Raíces, and then it just spread like wildfire. Like first 2 years of Dos Raíces, and then it was like specialty, just do.
Wow.
And a lot of them do a high level, they source good coffee, but what I see sometimes too is it's not just about the level of coffee you source, right? It's about like all these things that we've been talking about, right? So it's still kind of developing and growing over time, but Mexico City, I did see a bunch of them as well.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
It's crazy how it's like old in some parts of the world, but also in its infancy in some other parts of the world too.
True.
That's crazy. So I'm getting to see the beginnings of a specialty coffee industry, like in Hermosillo and Alamos and Sonora and different parts of Mexico, So maybe I'm living something a little bit similar to what you have. And after all this insight and time in the industry and seeing all these different patterns and things that have come to be, what is something that you hope isn't lost over time? Something that stays? A custom, a pattern, a vibe, an energy, a value.
Wow.
Because it's changing and it's evolving, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because like with change, with growth is change, and with change affects culture. And that's what I don't want to change. I know me not being in the cafes already affects the culture of my cafes and of the interaction I have with the people I used to have interactions with, but also like it allows more people to do that on their own. I just hope the availability of coffee that I can get a hold of to bring to our city doesn't change. And I think what's affecting us now is climate change, along with war and shipping and
yeah. The logistics and things like
pricing. Yeah, it's
that. Right. All the things.
yeah.
Right.
But the big picture is the coffee and the farmers.
Absolutely. So say if somebody was watching this video maybe 10 years from now, which we just did with the what was the channel that you showed me for the first Presta event?
The coffee scene with
coffee scene,
yeah.
right? We looked at the time that video was published, and it was 9 years ago, right?
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw your face and David's face look back upon that moment.
Wasn't so gray.
Just as good looking.
Thank you.
Yeah, if somebody were to see this video 10 years from now, what would you want them to understand about this moment in coffee?
If they saw it 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Like,
10
damn,
years
is that guy still alive? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would hope to think that they still feel the same way about me.
Yeah.
About Presta and about all of us.
Yeah.
And the coffees that they're drinking.
Right.
That I can still pull in fun stuff for them to try out.
Right. Right.
That we're still inventive with searching for, or not me being inventive, but that I'm still pulling in coffees that are inventive.
Well, we're still doing that now, and I see it in the customers' faces all the time. You know, at Mercado, we get some of the older generation around that comes not really knowing what any of the descriptors on our bags are, and then as soon as you hit them with the co-ferment, it's like their whole kind of world changes, right? But I wonder how many times can you live through that cycle of discovery, of discovering something completely new.
I mean, we all just found it at different stages. I mean, it's a time in your life, right? It's like mid-20s, 30s.
Yeah.
It's like when I found it.
Right.
And I think that it seems to be a trend. If you're becoming a dad, if you're or mother or family maker, or a new job or professional job, like these moments kind of like push you into coffee because people see it as a necessity to have in the mornings. They must do it to move forward, to be alive, to, go to work.
Right.
Yeah.
And ideally, where would you want the industry to move towards? Or dive deeper in? Kind of what change would you like to see in the industry, if any?
There's a need for commodity coffee and there's a need for specialty. It's hard to say that it would be kind of cool if it all blended to one. And then we got this one big universe of great coffee, but there's going to be people out there that price shop. And there's people out there that'll flavor shop. And you can't change that about our society, but I just hope there's more individual roasteries, cafes supplying a town than just one.
That's beautiful. Not the answer I was expecting, or maybe not the answer that cafe owners and roasters perhaps would give,
Yeah.
to try to cover as much terrain as they could and sell the most, really. Where your perspective is kind of the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, now that I've been doing this for 15 years, it's kind of my job to help out other people that are interested in doing the same thing. I mean, there's a couple of new people in town, and if they come to me for advice or help or anything, I'm definitely there to help them out. Because
That's amazing.
I mean, Jonathan with Carino, I mean, he's just starting his new brand, and he's got the same background as me. He's got a graphic design background. He's been in coffee in the past. He's been a roaster in the past. He's going to do great. Yeah. But if he needs any help anyway, I'm there to help him.
Does that scare you, like other coffee shops popping up in roasters? No. Why not?
He's got a whole different concept.
Right.
And we're all going to find a different way of like be inventive to let yourself stand out differently than others. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if someone did the exact same thing that I would do.
Right.
But also I totally understand why they would do it, because this has worked this far, this long.
And then there's also the fact that there's 100% a possibility that there's another person very much like you that would do things very much in your way, right?
Yeah.
Like in your same way.
I'm to be honest with you, I'm more surprised that there hasn't been more that has opened up in our town since, because I mean, there was a craft culture wave in Tucson 15 to 10 years ago. There was all these new business opening. And I would say like we were on the more end of pretentiousness. Now where coffee is, it's more on the eye, if anything, the image. I mean, it needs to look good. It needs to be sweet. We're no longer worrying about the single origin. We're no longer focused on quality coffee. Understands that coffee's gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So people don't, if you haven't catered that clientele to understand what you were doing, that you're trying to bring in these great coffees, and it takes a lot of money to do that, or it takes money, or it's expensive to buy it.
Yeah.
Right now is a critical time, because you are forced to buy, in your mind, expensive coffees that are cheap. Cheap in flavor, cheap in taste. But in your mind, this is a $4.20 or $4.20 pound coffee, and now you got to raise your prices for a baseline coffee. You've got to change your whole motive and your clientele.
Right.
So now the clientele has to understand that you're buying expensive coffees, not cheap coffees anymore.
Right.
And now you're masking them with sugar and syrups and just to make it taste better.
Yeah.
I hope we get back to the single origin. I hope we get back to the pureness of coffee.
Yeah.
I think we got it wrong in the 2000s by being overly pretentious about it and really scared a lot of people away, pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I think and I try to do this in my brand, is keep it kind of fun, playful, but yet not feel like it's sterile when you come in.
Right.
Because we do carry expensive coffees.
Yeah.
We're in a weird spot in coffee right now, but I hope it kind of comes back around to understand that there are tons of coffee shops opening right now.
Yeah.
But I hope they can step out of this level and go more into single origins again.
Focus on the farmer, focus on the bean, focus on the quality, on the taste.
Bridal process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like the hardest part of getting to where you are is educating the customer base to kind of understand that, and not only understand it, but appreciate it and buy into it.
Yeah.
How did that come to be? How do you do that? I'm sure, the branding can definitely play a part in it, and I see it. Our bags are full of colors, and I love our bags, and I'm not intimidated to ask questions if I see this bag somewhere else. On the contrary, I see the bag and it's so colorful, and I want to ask questions about it. And then I read the back, and then this is a beautiful mission statement. And I feel like our baristas also kind of portray a sense of welcoming and colorfulness that comes with a brand too, which is great. But how did you get here, do you think, to have a customer base that understands that and appreciates that and is willing to pay into it?
I mean, when I was behind the bar, I was definitely trying to educate and get people kind of excited about these types of coffees. I mean, like I told you the other day, like at the First Avenue, you know, it's a cafe and it's a roastery, and I had a sample roaster, and I would sample roast coffees and I would serve them to people, but I would never charge them. I would just get them excited, like, try out this anaerobic. I mean, I've never heard of this process before. You need to like try this out. And I only had 50 grams sitting there, so I'd split it off into 2 25-gram like pours, and then, you know, just get people excited about it. And then you talk about the farmer and talk about the process. Yeah. And that takes a while, but for it to like kind of blend into your staff, and then staff should blend into community and educate them. I mean, at the newer cafes, I think we don't educate in any way.
I mean, that sounds just like a bunch of pure passion that has been distilled down into, from one cup that is brimming with it, falls into the next cup, that falls into the next cup, that falls into the next cup. Really.
The champagne tower.
Yeah, something a little bit like that, which is, I can attest to it. I live it, and there's something about the coffee culture that I've been so lucky enough to live in here at Presta that has made me be more of myself, and also be more like that, where I try to get people into coffee. And I love it when there's somebody at the shop that is pushing me back away from it. Like, I don't want to get into it. That come in with an attitude of saying, I hate you guys, basically. There's a lot of customers, especially around my shop, where they read the bags, they read the labels, they read the origin, and they get frustrated with the variety and frustrated with the tasting notes and the processes, and they immediately shut down and just say, screw you guys, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why is it so expensive? You know, they just want to go off on off. And I love it. I love it because I know that if I can just sit through their little own speech, and then if they can sit through my speech, and if I can get far enough down the process to where I can hand them a little taster of kind of a wash, chocolate caramel, just classic profile drip coffee, and then give them like a co-ferment, I know that they're gonna shut down inversely and then just be like, oh, and then their eyes will just open, you know. And I've had that happen where they want to buy a bag, but they're frustrated with what they want to get, and they're borderline not going to buy a bag, and then they're definitely going to buy a chocolate caramel bag, and I give them 2 tasters, and they end up taking home a bag of just the regular, maybe washed Mexico, something chill, and then they're like, actually, let me take a bag of that crazy one you gave me, because I've never tried anything like that before.
Yeah, you'd be surprised when people like resist you and you give them co-ferment, and they're like, they come back the next day and like,
yeah,
I've been thinking about that coffee all night.
Yeah, yeah. And you wouldn't expect it to happen because they were so, it's almost as if the amount of resistance they put into it is then flipped into the amount of awe that they find themselves in once they try the coffee. You know,
right.
They're as in awe as they were resistant to the idea.
And you flip that switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love doing that. I love doing that. I feel like that also unintentionally gets me the most tips too.
Yeah.
You
really?
know?
Yeah.
They ended up buying 2 bags, and we had this long conversation that was a really personal interaction. Honestly, my intention wasn't to chase the tip. It was just to kind of prove you wrong, first and foremost, but then also get you into coffee. And then if that translates into benefit for me, then awesome, you know. And I'll see them around again, and maybe the next time I see them, I'll use one of my comps on them, and then all of a sudden they're coming to Presta and asking more questions, and they go from a wash to a honey, and they go from a honey to a natural, and then all of a sudden they might be here at the cupping, you know, over time. So
right, yeah,
that's really, really, really cool.
It's fun stuff. I love that.
We started this whole entire thing inversely, maybe, because last episode, the first pilot episode with David, I really got my bearings in a lot of ways, but I started it off by asking him the title of this whole idea, which is what's in your cup, right? And maybe literally, yes, because we're here at the warehouse and we get to drink some amazing coffee, and this Obligon was really, really tasty. But also, what's in your cup? Like, what's going on with you right now? In
Like
your life?
right now?
Like in your life?
Well, right now it's nothing.
Nothing.
Hold on. Let me see.
Delicioso?
Probably my favorite coffee of the year, without a doubt.
Same. I really liked it.
Yeah.
One of my favorites for sure. I mean, my
We're going to
favorite.
talk about it?
I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about it, I can say many, many things about it. I love how there's kind of this deep chocolatiness that doesn't fall into the too dark cacao realm, where it's still kind of sweet enough,
Yeah.
but also this raspberry fruitiness going on with it. It's almost as if I blended two of my favorite coffees of the two different extremes. Like I blended my favorite washed classic profile and I blended my favorite kind of funkier, brighter, juicier, fruitier coffee and put it into one cup. But it's one single coffee,
Yeah,
which is great
kind of
about
like
it.
the Cabernet of wines.
Yeah,
Really, this coffee, it's got everything
right.
well balanced. I mean, it's light flavoring, but heavy body. A lot of fruits. I mean, phenomenal fruit.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
of course, you have that creamy strawberry chocolate kind of like blends.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I could drink this coffee every day. I mean,
Thank you, Nestor.
this is by Nestor Lasso.
This is, yeah.
Cool. I mean, he's picked up a lot of traction over the years. What's
Yeah.
your relationship to him? You guys know each other?
It's really through ClearPath. I mean,
Okay.
ClearPath has done a good job about pulling all these coffees out. I personally haven't met. I may have met him at a show one year, but Nestor Lasso, no.
I want to buy one of these cans, and then I had it best. This was what we had was roasted 3 days ago, and it was delicious. But the best I've ever had it was roasted about 5 weeks. 5 weeks off roast. I had it at home, and I really want to buy some, and then split it into 2 bags once it's 5 weeks off of roast, and then vacuum seal it and freeze it. And then just refer back to it whenever.
Cool, do
I'm
it.
sure there's going to be a lot more coffees coming through that are amazing, but
Yeah,
it'll be a cool wink in time.
I had this at 2 months, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
So
Same with the Finca Milan. Finca Milan is
Milan
great.
doesn't age at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's something like we talked about that earlier today. Like a lot of this co-ferments age gracefully.
Definitely.
I mean, you can even let them sit, even outside of them kind of being baggy. That, I mean, the rum process one, the Mandarin co-ferment,
Yeah.
rum soaked one, the one we had was, I mean, it was a year
Yeah.
off. I mean, we got it, I guess, 9 months into its cycle, its life. But I let it sit for another 6 months, so we were over a year, and it just turned out better. I mean, when we first had that coffee, it was entirely 210s, and we could not serve it. And the rum was aging on it to where it wasn't so fragrant. And I had this situation doing cold brew in a whiskey barrel. We like brew cold brew in a whiskey barrel.
Oh, yeah.
We had to let it kind of off gas. It was just too fragrant. It didn't taste good. And same thing with this coffee. It's like I would come back to it almost every month, just testing it.
Yeah.
And
It just needed some more time.
I felt like it was almost 8 months after we had it where we served it. So it was a year and a half off at this point.
Whoa.
And we served it. It wasn't very baggy. I mean, they didn't have like a bag flavor to it.
No?
But also, like, I think it was the time it shined because it was too early, a year off on it. So
I love seeing you kind of just prance around all these super exotic and wild coffees, and maybe in times where a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm not going to buy that. You're absolutely the complete opposite. You're like, yeah, let's buy that.
maybe it's just the roasting style. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, people that even go a little darker, a little more heat on the coffees. It may taste different to them.
Yeah. Actually, I never asked, how did you learn to roast? Just the same way
Just
you plugged in your
I
washing
plugged it in.
machine?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I took I just bought, my first bag I bought was a Honduran bag, just a bag from Honduras. And went and just roasted it. And there, at the time, there was really zero information about roasting online. Zero. I mean, zero.
I can imagine.
I mean, even Scott Rao didn't even write a
Publish
book.
it. Right.
But it's and it was just like one of those things where I just kept backing off until it got too green.
Okay.
And then once I found kind of like a sweet spot,
Yeah.
because I remember just roasting and burning it and then backing off and backing off and backing off. And then hearing these things through Perry, it's like development, 2 minutes, do a 2-minute development,
You would try that out.
and try that out. And then, and it's weird because we're also at elevation. So to understand like things crack a little earlier at elevation and we're in dry climate. So we have zero moisture in our air. Unlike understanding, I went to Hart Roasters, Hart Coffee, and they had the roaster in a cafe, and I remember asking the roaster there like all the numbers.
Yeah.
And he would tell me like, they're dropping when the coffee would crack at, I can't even remember now exact numbers at this point, but I felt like it was like 410, 415
Whoa.
it cracked at.
Whoa.
And my roaster doesn't even see 400 degrees. So it's like, would never touch 400 degrees.
Right.
But
it sounds like a lot of figuring it out on your own, really.
Yeah, that's sea level with a lot of moisture, and then understanding like my friend Handlebar Coffee Roasters in Santa Barbara, Aaron, understanding what he was cracking at and where he was dropping, and then here at EXO, learning through EXO and their coffee. We started at the same time, but I started as a cafe. They started as a roaster. I used them for the first year and a half, and then learning through them too, and understanding how to roast with them. That's at this elevation.
Right.
But really, it's like once I found the sweet spot, I take it and I pull every 15 seconds of the crack.
Right.
And then from there, you're cupping
Whatever you like
15
most.
coffees of the same coffee that's going through a development profile.
Yeah.
And then you're picking them where it tastes the best at.
Right. Honestly, kind of the best way to learn, because I feel like nowadays there's actually so much information online where I find myself sometimes considering variables for, let's say, maybe a pour over recipe that I'm doing, or I'm trying to find out or learn a different thing. I'm considering variables that I don't even need to consider them yet, because I haven't empirically tasted it and tried it out. It's almost as if I read so much and I consume so much information online, and I do learn, but I carry that into whatever I'm doing. And I feel like it's almost like just testing it out in my brain and not actually doing it. Like sometimes things work that were illogical based on what I read, but it works and it tastes good. And then you just run with that because, I don't know, it just tastes good, right? Where you didn't really have all that information to kind of clog up your experience, and you were literally just going based off of
What I liked.
what you like,
Yeah.
kind of in the best ways. And also what your friends were doing too must have helped. But at that point, I bet it was just, you were already into roasting or had done it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then figuring out more things.
That time, but I feel like everyone I was talking to was definitely a little darker than where I wanted to be. And like,
because you were pretty light, especially, you're pretty light now, but you were pretty light, super light back in the day, I'm assuming, like 16 years ago?
yeah, really like,
Yeah.
I got, once I told you this before, it's like I was criticized on how light at the time. It was too green for people. And now it's the trend.
Right.
And I haven't changed my profiles. I have profiles within profiles right now, but the pictures never really changed. I've always kind of cracked at the same, of course we crack at the same time here no matter what, but like my development process is always the same. There's maybe 2 to 3 degrees off on all the coffees. And the thing is that it's a consistent roast, but it's allowing the coffees to shine on their own
Right.
in the variable that I give them.
Right.
I mean, I take some, maybe 30, 45, sometimes a minute longer than normal, but that's dealing with espresso. On a single origin, there's very little variables. Not changing. I mean, there's not much I'm changing in the system,
Yeah.
but the idea is to allow the coffees shine
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
way I want them to shine.
Absolutely. And nowadays, even there's some stuff that is really, really, really light. You know, it's crazy to see how that has evolved from like one end of the spectrum to the complete opposite. I got some coffee the other day that was pretty much the color of my skin. I told David, it's so light. You know,
Yeah.
so trends, so many different trends.
Well, that's just with new equipment, new machinery,
Definitely.
new roasters.
Definitely. Also, I feel like a new palate. Because I feel like even myself, when I first started in specialty coffee, I started with pour-overs, and this was 6 years ago, and I was enjoying what I was doing back then, and it wasn't too bitter. I started with like medium to higher end of the spectrum for light. But now, if I were to make myself the same pour-over that I was 5 years ago, I wouldn't enjoy it as much because I've gone more into the tea-like realm, really, you know. And I feel like the palate for people has changed over time too.
Yeah, I definitely love like anaerobics and naturals, more in the lines of like 1 to 16, sometimes 117. I really like them thin because they tend to shine a little better when they're thin.
Yeah.
That's personally how I like to brew them. I mean,
I agree.
Customer-wise, we don't brew that way, but like I personally like that.
Same, me too. Yeah. Just to wrap it up, I'm sure we'll do another episode at some point. But is there still something you want to talk about? You want to say?
I mean, it depends on how bored everyone is right now. I can talk about stuff.
I know. The same thing happened to David and us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We'll do another one.
You mean there's the...
Maybe it's something you want to get off your chest, if anything. If not, we'll wrap it up.
And one of your questions was to the roaster. Which one was that? It was mechanical to traditional. No, it wasn't that. It was
what's harder about roasting today than 5 years ago, and has quality become more subjective or more standardized?
With the amount of people roasting now, the quality, I feel like it's become more standardized. But it's what's different about roasting from today than 10 years ago. I feel like you don't have to learn how to roast anymore. The machines are doing it for you. Like when I learned it, it was on a sheet.
With the graph.
It's a grid,
like
the graph. Yeah, every minute you got to write down your time and temp, time and temp, time and temp.
Yeah.
And that's how you monitor everything. Right now, everything's on a computer. I started out with the computer, but I think every roaster should understand on how to roast on a manual roaster. No computers showing them, no computers. And it just makes you a better roaster to understand on how those 2 or 3 minutes of like intense flame treats the coffee.
Sure.
If it's early in the process, if it's later in the process, which it shouldn't happen, it's like it'll react certain ways to the coffee. If you understand, you do it one way, you need to do it this way, and then you can taste the changes.
Right.
Now, I mean, if you look at lourings and stuff, it's a plug and play. Someone can come in, load up the filler throws it up in the machine, they push a button, it runs the profile.
It's kind of crazy.
There's really not a lot of education in that.
Definitely.
And maybe they are. I don't have a louring, so I just see it from afar. I see it, seen it a couple times when I've been on them.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I wish really everyone would like stair step the roaster up to those big machines and not just like throw them on instantly and call themselves a roaster to when they have to go back to a normal machine
And then not know anything.
or a drum roaster, or I mean, we have all types of roasters now. So
Yeah.
not only drum roasters. So
Air
it's like,
roast-
yeah, understanding all
absolutely.
types of roasters would be great.
Right. I can imagine it from, I've never roasted before, but just being behind the bar, before I was a barista, I was only doing pour overs at home. And by a couple guides on the internet, but then by taste as well.
Yeah.
And I learned some things, but then I became a barista, and espresso was a thing that I had to focus on. And over the course of time of me dialing it in, it's almost, I don't want to sound too cliche or philosophical or crazy, but it's like a little bit about becoming one with the bean a little bit, kind of like understanding how certain beans from certain places and certain temperatures outside and humidities will react, and how much am I going to take into account for that or not take that into account at all in the roast state, and be sure the ratio and things like that. I can imagine that's maybe something similar to roasting a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You know, just
I mean, to even
analog doing it.
understand, like, adding acidity to a bean is really in your flame. I thought the acidity was in the coffee.
Yeah,
But
me
you
too.
can manipulate the coffee to
Bring out a little more of that.
a little more acidity, yeah.
Wow. What do you think about the whole air roaster thing that's going on right now then? Because that seems even more plug and play.
Yeah.
I met somebody at the shop recently that has an air roaster, and I asked them where they learned to roast, and they literally said, no, I mean, there's like a bunch of profiles online that I can just like download and
Yeah.
hit enter, and
I mean,
then let's go.
That's
Which
also
is cool
great
in a
too, which
way.
is allowing a lot more roasters to pop
Absolutely.
online, but also standardization. Like, we're all like, I can tell when a coffee's been roasted on a Lorraine. I can tell when a coffee's been roasted on a Stronghold. So it's getting to the point where I know drum roaster from Lorraine to Stronghold.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know. I wish we could merge them all together in one.
Into one thing. That'd be cool. I feel like it's only a matter of time before some sort of crazy, wacky experiment like that comes to be. Especially now with like the home brewers and baristas, they're so nerdy in the best of ways, but sometimes so intense, you know?
Did I ever tell you about my like 45-minute roast that I did?
No.
And Max Mooney at the time worked for Spotted Cow, currently working for Onyx.
Oh, cool.
He had this, I don't know, we were talking, I think he's already did this once, but I was curious about it too. Took an Annie Ruth, a Loma Gloria, El Salvador, roasted it for 45 minutes. So I did a drop in, brought it up to temp, 200 degrees, let it sit for 45 minutes
Oh my
at 200
God.
degrees, and then bring it up to crack. And as soon as it cracked, I dropped it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I did this again a couple more times, and I don't know really. It would be kind of cool to understand like what Max Mooney's theory or his concept was out of this, because I don't know what his flavors were out of his coffee, but what I got on mine was it tasted developed, underdeveloped, overdeveloped, in the ways of it tasted green and burnt at the same time, and that combination was it was palatable. I definitely liked it. It didn't taste burnt on burnt coffee, but for me it was over like medium
Sure.
in roast profiles. But you had that element of mediumness, roast profile, and green together as one,
Yeah.
as a flavor.
Interesting.
And I would love to explore that again.
That's
But
all right.
I did it a few times, and we brewed it as espresso. It was not good because the grinders really didn't treat it. I mean, it dried out enough for the grinders to grind through it. It just didn't hold its value
Yeah.
in espresso. But cold brew was weirdly good. So
Yeah. A lot of experiments to be done, for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, you could definitely like experiment all that stuff on this. Like,
Yeah. And the standardization thing is not only a problem in the roasting, or maybe problem isn't the right word, but it's not only happening in roasting, but it's right now with the whole like pre-batch espresso trend too. That's kind of coming to be about, and it really leads to the same questions and sort of issues and loss of information perhaps and loss of experience. I mean, it could either be that or it can lead to some of the argument for pre-batch espresso is kind of a higher sense of community and more time to connect with the customer, and of course them knowing that this is a pre-batch espresso place, and of course if you want to have a shot of espresso, I have a machine right here if you want to have it for here, right? So yeah, it's for sure an interesting way things are headed at. I'm excited to go to the SEA because I'm sure we're going to get to see some interesting things regarding that sort of shift at least. So I don't know, maybe we'll get to try a cappuccino on pre-batch than in the fresh one, and who knows what's coming really.
Yeah, you're going to have virgin eyes this year.
Yeah. I like that term, virgin eyes. Now that I realize that my wife now works also at Presta at a different location, that's been a huge blessing for us as a couple in our lives, but also kind of for me as a coffee enthusiast, because now I have a perfect excuse to not shut up about coffee with her. You know? Or like, I never shut up about coffee.
She doesn't turn it off at home?
There's the possibility that she doesn't have to. You know, there's a possibility that she might get home and be as excited as I am about something that happened at her shop, right? Or she might have a question that I never really turn it off, to be honest with you.
We get to talk about the Yemen coffees. You just go.
Exactly. Like that sort of, I never really turn it off in general, whether I'm online or wherever. So whenever she gets home with a question or with something interesting that happened or something she's learning, I'm all ears. But now that she's a barista, she's all ears as well, right? So that is really cool. But
yeah, she made some comment about coming to SEA.
Did she?
Sleep in your bed.
I'm glad I didn't train her because I'm the trainer now, but the opportunity came to be for Alana to train her, and Alana's so kick-ass that I was like, oh, take the opportunity to be trained by Alana. But then after the training, I hear her out about what she's learning, and some days she feels like she really got her bearings and a better understanding for what was happening on espresso or in dialing in. And then some other days she was just kind of defeated and comes back saying, I never really made it work, or I never really got it to where I wanted it to be. And then I take the time for her to breathe through that, and then also say, some days that's the learning experience, where some days you got to understand you're not going to get it to where you want it to be because there's also other factors to consider, and not just your taste buds, but you can't wrangle a bean into making it whatever you want, right? Well, now there's a term for it. You just said it. I always instill in her to keep kind of virgin eyes or like a virgin mind as to saying there's always something new to learn. Like walk into it every day like you don't know what it's gonna present you with, because it can present you with something totally different. And you have to learn on the fly day to day how it's acting day to day, and not focusing on, well, yesterday it was acting this way, today it's gonna act a totally different way. And just the sooner you learn to make your karate chops versatile and fast instead of just the same way all the time, the better you're gonna be. And industry moves so fast with this trends that I also, if I learn something about pour overs one week, the next week online, it may very well change, you know? Yeah,
there's always a new brewer, there's new methods, there's new coffees.
Yeah, new coffees, new theories about extraction, new this, new that. So it's really nice for massaging my brain constantly. But yeah, I've learned a lot about that to kind of just keep up with the changes that is going, like the whole soup thing. And,
I just remember the switch with latte art. It was like this one day where I poured this amazing Rosetta and it never turned off after that. And once that switch came on of like understanding how to do it, I mean, it never turned off.
Right. Yeah.
There may be one or two that kind of wasn't great after that, but it definitely was always, it was like consistent and like, I got it.
Consistent at a different level, right?
Yeah.
Varying perhaps in that new level, you know? Sometimes towards the bottom end of that new level, sometimes towards the higher end, but new level, right?
And it's like 200 cups a day.
Yeah.
Every day for months. And then all of a sudden it just like,
I know.
It's like, holy,
the same thing happened to me. The same thing happened to me. I had one of my friends that was really good at it say, it's all about the milk. That's all the advice I'm going to tell you. It's just all about the milk. And then I was like, okay, be one with the milk every day. And then it just got better like this, one day just to kind of switch on. It's interesting that same thing can happen kind of with your taste buds too, I think, where it's like you unlock a different realm of your taste buds or a different way of analyzing what's going on in your mouth. And then that, boom, just stays and you carry it with you.
You mean understanding like flavor profiles?
Like flavor profiles and the different types of acidity and balance. And I feel like the more coffees that I try, the more I kind of find out what coffees I tend to prefer and also understand my bias as to what I prefer. Like I know I prefer this, so I'm going to be extra careful when there's something on the complete opposite end for me not to completely discard it because I prefer this over here. You know what I mean? To kind of try to be as just as possible when I'm trying it. But also being able to describe more and more things of what I'm trying.
Sure.
Or what I'm brewing. I tend to, like I said, my pour overs, that's changed so much. My knowledge of it has too, but mainly just my preference for them has changed. Same grinder, same recipe, same water. Sometimes it's just my palate preference,
True.
So never-ending journey.
Even up to like second wave to third wave coffee, to specialty coffee, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing. You're constantly like if you're into it, you're gonna move forward.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited for the SEA. I'm excited to see what it's bringing. So you guys will not, as soon as I'm finished with my shifts behind the bar, you guys will not see me. I'll just be like, just trying to run around, getting to know as many people as I can and trying as many things as I can, if possible.
Yeah, it's
so
fun.
There's this really cool podcast with Kirk Pearson. It's called The Coffee Show. And he ends his episodes by asking his guests to ask him a question. So if you were to have a question for me, what would that question be?
I don't know.
Sorry to put you on the spot. It can be any question.
This is where you pause it.
I could. We could very well make a quick cut and think about it.
Ask you a question?
Yeah,
I'm asking you questions all day long.
I know.
I have to ask another one?
Context.
Okay. Nope. No, I'm not going there with that one.
It can be as long as a pause as you want it to be.
I don't know. I'm really not asking any questions, but I'm like excited to see your reaction of when we go to World of Coffee.
Right, World of Coffee. My bad.
How you come out after it, because like there was one time one year we did a fan appreciation day to where we took a fan member to SEA.
Oh.
And it was just like he was total gung-ho about us. He promoted us, he Instagrammed us all day long, for years.
Yeah.
And we're like, fan appreciation, this guy has to come.
Wow.
And we took him.
That is
and he
super
was like,
cool.
Before we even got into the place, we ended up running into like, it was great. I think Liz Chai, Jared Truby, Chris Baca.
Damn.
And he was like a kid in the candy store. Yeah. And then until like we didn't get in yet. And he's like, oh my gosh, I just met all my fans. So it was kind of awesome to see that, and I'm looking forward to that. But like, question-wise, I mean, are you enjoying working with us?
Very much, very much. I've heard the saying of kind of having a great boss kind of changes you. And I hadn't really had a boss before. I was doing like some freelance things and such, and I had some other kind of like service jobs where I did have a boss, but I didn't quite see how or why, or to like what extent that can change you to. But now that I'm here, I feel like just working for Presta under this environment and having you around here and appreciating your vast amount of experience, but your vast amount of humbleness, and to top it off, there's like just the right amount of silliness to kind of carry it through it all. That's been really transformative for me in saying, I've also lived this.
So you're saying like 100% silliness maybe 1% direction.
Well, it's like a little bit of the drunken master kung fu style.
Yeah,
you know,
okay,
a little
okay.
bit of that, where you're just like, just vibing, but also teaching.
When you do
at
it
the
every
same
day
time.
for a long time, you eventually like just want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because being repetitious is annoying.
And I love that. I feel like all my life I've been torn between, I'm also like a silly guy and a kind of like a more upbeat person and intense in some ways, and been torn in having to leave that or tone that down for the serious world. Like for me to be able to make a living or find my proper place, find my footing, I'll have to kind of turn that down and turn into this machine, like this robot of saying, yes, I am mature, I'm responsible, I get things done, money, 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 money. And being here and seeing all this, like the wonderful community around it, the success around it, but then walking into a warehouse and having you like just be like, "Doo-doo-doo." I'm like, I could, I don't have to turn that down.
Laying on the coffee bags.
Yeah, like,
taking naps.
and then I'm like, wow, I don't have to turn that down. That's amazing. So it's been a blessing. And people that are watching my life from afar through social media, they can pick it up and they can sense it too.
Yeah.
That it's such a fortunate place to be in, and I feel very fortunate to be here and learning so much and given the opportunity.
This podcast is brought to you by Presta Coffee. Presta Coffee is
It's good.
That's definitely going to be the outro. Whoever stays around for it will see the little Easter egg.
Oh yeah, get that nitro action.